Slimbo, and happy Austin 316 day to you. I'm going to be talking about what Stone Cold Steve Austin means to me. And before we get into the video, remember, I'm only 19 years old. I didn't grow up with the Attitude Era. I didn't grow up with The Rock and Stone Cold always feuding. I grew up with the PG era, with the end of the Ruthless Aggression era. I didn't know anything about the Attitude Era when I first saw Stone Cold Steve Austin live. All I knew from the Attitude Era, I didn't even know it was called the Attitude Era actually, but all I knew from the Attitude Era was that Kane was Undertaker's younger brother that the Undertaker apparently tried to kill. Edge and Christian were brothers, and DX invaded a company called WCW. That's all I know of the Attitude Era around 2011, right? So my earliest memory though of Stone Cold Steve Austin is in 2011 WrestleMania 27. Arguably the worst WrestleMania ever, but we can make a separate video about that. When I had made my parents buy WrestleMania 27, I didn't know who Stone Cold Steve Austin was, and my dad recognized him, and I probably had the worst experience seeing Austin live because he was the referee for arguably the worst WrestleMania match ever, Michael Cole versus Jerry Lawler. He was the guest referee for that match, and before recording, I wanted to watch it, and it's horrible. It's worse than I remember. Because I remember laughing as a kid because, oh, Michael Cole, you know, he's getting his ass kicked by Jerry Lawler, Stone Cold, you know, and Jack Swagger's getting his ass kicked. But no, it was grueling to watch. I remember the opening of the match where it's Michael Cole talking mad shit about JR, and then Jack Swagger comes out, the All-American American. Yes, this was Jack Swagger's nickname back then. Jack Swagger comes out to no reaction at all. Like, the crowd is dead. I had to pause or, you know, mute to see if it was like anything with my setup. But literally, if you rewatch the match, Jack Swagger had nobody moving. Everybody was just like, what is this guy doing? So Jack Swagger, as he's walking down the ramp, no reaction, nobody's reacting, right? Everyone's basically waiting for Stone Cold. As a kid, I didn't know that. He stops to start doing his push-ups. He does a few reps with no pyro or reaction from anybody. And then all you hear is this. Stone Cold comes out and the crowd erupts, and it's the loudest since they started this part of the show, part of the match, right? And he's he's on the ATV celebrating, hell yeah, hell yeah. And he almost drives over Jack Swagger and runs him over. I remember as a kid being like shocked, you know, that the referee was being cheered and that he was on an ATV or quad bike, whatever you want to call it, and that Stone Cold Steve Austin got Jack Swagger scared. And I just didn't understand why everyone was cheering him. I didn't know why Austin was getting these reactions from the crowd at all, from the wrestlers or even the commentators. And around this time in 2011, I had recently just turned 6. And this is my first time ever, you know, experiencing Stone Cold Steve Austin live and watching him live. As a kid, I loved the match. I loved, you know, and after the match, after, you know, the whole WrestleMania, I think the three things that really stuck with me as a kid from that WrestleMania was Edge and Alberto Del Rio had a banger match. Who is this Stone Cold guy? And how did the Miz win against John Cena? So after the WrestleMania, I searched up who Austin is, and I found out real quickly. I went onto YouTube and just searched up WWE Stone Cold Steve Austin, and the video results were literally just a mountain full of videos and content from the Attitude Era that was either like pirated, stolen, or just re-uploaded from another YouTube video that got taken down. And the very first video that I watched of Stone Cold Steve Austin, because it's from the WWE account, I pick it. It's him from the Attitude Era dressing up as a doctor and beating Vince McMahon's ass with a pan. And at the end of the clip that the WWE shows, he proceeds to stick up a syringe up his butt. You're hearing me right. Stone Cold Steve Austin stick the syringe up Vince McMahon, his boss's butt. And at the time, I didn't know what that meant. I didn't get the adult joke. So I thought Austin just sticked it in his butt, you know, just like, bow. Not even in, you know, that area, but just on the butt cheek just to hurt him. I'm rewatching the clip because it's funny, right? Like, you know, Vince McMahon getting his ass kicked. That's so funny. And my mom catches me watching it at the end of the video and at the end of the clip, and I got my iPad stolen away and I didn't understand it. But after I got my iPad back after a couple of days, I started watching more clips and classic Stone Cold moments, like him stunning The Rock and how The Rock would react, him fighting Bret Hart at WrestleMania, and him passing out. When I say this, just know I was only 6 years old, okay? When he took the tombstone from Owen Hart, I didn't know up until like 3 years later that he actually broke his neck from that. Out of all the clips that I saw as a kid, the most things I'd seen were two things: him flipping off people before stunning them, afterwards as well, and drinking a ton of beer. When I found out what flipping off was, especially, was the moment I lost my innocence. It was the moment my innocence was gone. When I saw how much he did it in all the videos that I watched, I just started flipping off anything that made me mad. If it was Call of Duty and I'm losing the game, I'm flipping off the TV. If I didn't like who won the match on WWE, I'm going to WWE.com. I would do this as a kid, finding a picture of them and flipping them off. I would do this secretly so I wouldn't get in trouble as a kid. Sorry, mom. Sorry, dad. But even as a kid, seeing Austin live once, I wanted to be like him. So I know kids are super influential. They get influenced easily. But like, dude, like to this day, I'm still getting influenced by Austin in some way. And after a couple years, I'd say from 2011 to 2015, I don't know why, for me, I just have these random YouTube videos where I would just want to watch a certain thing. So I would go back watching Austin's best moments, and, you know, more clips would surface of him from interviews, from his best moments in the Attitude Era to the early 2000s and all that stuff. And it skyrocketed when the WWE Network was coming out, and I just started, you know, between this time, I started to have this appreciation for Austin that continued to grow as I found out more about him, what he did for the business and for the WWE. And I'm gonna be honest, this appreciation for him skyrocketed in 2016 when WWE dropped Stone Cold Steve Austin's iconic Austin 316 speech to promote the WWE Network. I never got the WWE Network when it was just, you know, WWE handling it, but I remember watching this one preview clip of the Austin 316 speech. I just instantly became more of a fan of Austin, like on the spot after watching it multiple times. At this point, it's 2016. I am 11 years old now, and off the bat, as a 11-year-old now in 2016, I was born in 2005. I just knew that it was good. Like, it was an awesome promo, and that it had an impact on the business. My fandom of Stone Cold Steve Austin was getting bigger each time I went back and saw, but it became bigger than ever when I finally got WWE 2K16 in the middle of July of 2016. You guys got to know that my parents couldn't afford, you know, the WWE or Call of Duty all the time. I would get these games like literally 10, 11 months after their release date because they would go on sale and all that stuff. So, you know, I really appreciate that from my parents. But dude, like, getting a new WWE game especially was crazy because the roster was updated, the graphics, the moves I was really excited for, the entrances, and the customization I always looked forward to because I would be playing the same game literally for a year. Once I got WWE 2K16, I played the crap out of it. It is probably my most played WWE game of all time, and it's probably up there with SmackDown vs. Raw 2011. SVR 2011, you have a special place in my heart. So thank you. All I really remember from WWE 2K16, other than just playing random matches with my little brother and my cousin here and there, and against the CPU, I remember playing the Austin 316 showcase mode and just being shocked with what the WWE and Austin was doing during the Attitude Era. When I finally finished the showcase mode and unlocked everything, I played as Austin in almost every single match that I played in WWE 2K16. And when I mean I would play as Austin every single match, I literally had a routine of kicking the CPU's ass, taunting on them, and stunnering them like my life depended on it. No CPU was safe from me, causing hell with Austin in WWE 2K16. I enjoyed WWE 2K16 and Austin so much that I ended up skipping WWE 2K17 for its entire life cycle. I never played WWE 2K17 until I saw it on sale for like $8 at a GameStop in like 2018. Me being a huge fan of Austin was with me basically everywhere I went. I would, you know, do like the little head shrug, you know, every time I was wrestling on this bed, literally the exact same bed I grew up with. Every time I wrestled my little brother on this bed, every time I did a finisher. I would taunt him with my head taunt and be like, what you gonna do? You know what I'm saying? What? But a huge example of this that I really remember is with video games. And not just WWE games where I would put the stunner on as a signature or finisher, which I would do. But I would literally create my 2K player to look like Stone Cold Steve Austin. You can ask my best friend Drew about it. And then for Call of Duty, when I was playing by myself and didn't have, like, you know, a clan tag, I would put the clan tag as SOB, DTA, 316, or SC for Stone Cold. And the last example I'm going to give is in UFC 2 and 3, my first fighter or creative fighter was modeled after Austin. That's how much of a fan I was. And it was always like this even after I stopped watching WWE and pro wrestling in 2018 up until 2022. I would only go back to watch wrestling if Austin was there. If I saw Austin at Mania, I only watch his part. If I see Austin celebrating 316 by himself on Raw in 2020, I'm literally watching that part. Literally, if Austin was on TV, I'm only watching that part of wrestling that he's in. And the only reason why I came back to wrestling and watching it daily was because of Stone Cold, because he was going to be at WrestleMania. And I had Peacock, so I just watched it on Peacock. First ever wrestling event that I watched. It was probably my first WrestleMania that I watched all the way through up until when the Hardy Boys came back. But after coming back to wrestling and keeping up with the WWE and pro wrestling as a whole, Stone Cold Steve Austin is still one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. He means so much to me that my best friend and I reference him in legit everything we do. From eating out, if, you know, no one's saying anything, we would just say something Austin 316 related. We would text and call each other, you know, with Austin 316 memes and just say shit about Austin. And we would send videos of Austin, like edits and all that stuff on TikTok and Instagram, or like, you know, him saying something to each other. And I probably should have told you guys this, but Drew doesn't watch professional wrestling. All he knows is Stone Cold Steve Austin, though. I have more Stone Cold Steve Austin t-shirts than rain jackets and shoes. I have about 4 shoes and 3 rain jackets, and I have about 6 Stone Cold Steve Austin shirts. I already ordered 3 more, so I'm gonna have 9. But to wrap up this video, I have so much love and respect for Austin, for what he's done in wrestling, who he is now, and how much he entertained me and millions of others during the Attitude Era, in the early 2000s, and every time he came back, and especially for that match against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38. In my opinion, Stone Cold Steve Austin is one of the greatest to ever do it. So happy 316 day to y'all. Drop a hell yeah in the comments, and remember, in anything that you do today, and for the rest of your life, don't trust anybody. Arrive, raise hell, leave. And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so.